Studio Epic. Here I am gluing up a couple sets of 2x4s that will make up the dice. They'll be about 3 inches thick final dimensions, so I just went ahead and glued 2 of these back to back. Now of course the middle joint isn't glued, it's just 2 sets of dice here so I can have several to cut up. So I'll let these dry overnight, so let's go ahead and take the clamps off. This is the first pass to clean up one side of the dice. Now I'm going to adjust the fence and cut it again. This will get all the glue and anything on the outside of the boards off. Now I'll make my final adjustment. This will be to make it square and make the dice perfectly even. And now I'll make my final pass. Now it's time to cut those dice down into their final sizes. So here I'm at the miter saw cutting all of these. And here you can see some bigger ones that I'm also making. Thanks to the power of editing, it looks like these were all done at the same time. These dice here will be 4x4, which is much larger than the 3x3 that the other sizes are. Guess what comes after this? Sanding. And there was a lot of sanding because I made a lot of these dice. And I made these dice the exact same way. I glue up and then trimming up each side to get to the final width, and now I'm cutting it to the final size here. And now we have lots and lots of sanding. This is just a portion of the blocks. You'll see more later. I think I ended up making 40-some blocks altogether. Here I'm just going to round over the edges so they're not so sharp. And here's some of the big ones getting sanded. Lots of sanding, like I said. And burning these took quite a while, so I'm not going to show a whole lot of me doing this. I made this simple template to mark off the die, and then I went back and burned each of the holes. If you're not familiar, the one side of the dice adds up with the opposite side to equal 7. So the 1 and 6 are opposite, the 3 and 4 are opposite, and the 2 and 5 are opposite. In case you're not aware. So when you don't have certain tools, sometimes you have to get creative. And you've already seen the burning block that I use. I'm going to use the same template to drill the holes for the dots on these. But what I did, since I don't have a drill press, is I rigged this up, and I don't know how safe this is, but I think it'll probably be okay. It spins freely on there, and what I'm going to do is stick this through to drill a hole, and then where it stops at, it'll cause like a positive stop on a drill press for it to be the same depth for all the holes. I don't know how well this is going to work out, so we're about to find out. This part here actually went really fast. It didn't take long to drill the holes, and the positive stop that I made for my drill actually worked really well. A drill press would definitely be a better option, but if you don't have one, this way it did work very well. I knocked all these out pretty quickly, and here's just a few of the holes I drilled. To make it easier, I ended up using a clamp, and I used a clamp actually on the rest of the dice after I did this one.
I know what you're thinking. More sanding, really? But what I did is, these dots I actually painted the dots in there in the holes I drilled. So what I'm doing is going back and sanding to get any of the extra paint that I got on the sides off. This really didn't take that long. I knocked it out pretty quickly. Here I'm using some Danish wool that is a oak color to paint these or stain these or whatever it is, these dice. This color looks really good. Some of the other ones I actually stained with actual stain, and they didn't turn out as nice, and you're going to see me here. Now I'm spray lacquering to finish those dice that were actually stained. I did not put any spray lacquer on the ones with the Danish wool though.
So as you can see, the yard dice are still drying. They're actually dry, but there's still a few sticky spots on a few of them, so I'm just letting them sit and let them cure for the overnight, and then they're going to get delivered tomorrow. My favorite ones are definitely these light stain ones. They don't have any spray lacquer on them. They feel better, I think, than these ones with the spray lacquer do. The dots look really good on them, especially the ones that are burned. The ones that are painted look good too, but I really like the ones that are burned. They look really good, and I'm really happy with the way the burn dots turned out. A couple other ideas besides drilling and burning these dots. You could, of course, you could have stenciled numbers on there if you're making these yourself. Another thing, and I didn't have time, and I'm not sure how long it would take for it to set up and everything, would be to drill the same holes like we did on these and fill it in with like a colored epoxy. Just mix it up, and I guess maybe if you made a batch of them, you could do a side at a time. But you have to try to measure out, I guess, exact amounts. I don't know how that would work, but that would be another idea. Another thing I thought about was on these bigger ones would be bottle cap, like beer caps, drill in there and glue them down where they're level with the surface. That would be kind of cool. But the sky's really the limit on what all you can do with that to make the dots. So thanks again for watching, and as always, y'all will see me next time. We need to take these to the craps table. Throw these down there.